Hey, what's up guys? My name is Markus and I would love to show you how you can build the most amazing marble runs, alright? And I already released like 8 tutorials on my Patreon. It's patreon.com /bonfire, alright? But actually right now I want to rebrand this into Markus Gonza, that's my real name. So on my Patreon you already get a lot of tutorials about marble runs. So you get lessons on how to build curves, how to build rails, spirals, ramps, crossings, angles, and also how to turn a boring element like this one into something with beautiful edge treatment like this, and then in a final step to make this one even more awesome. Okay, so all of this training is on my Patreon. You already know this place, I guess, because it's just awesome, to be honest. Okay, I'm sorry that I have to say it, but it is a really good place to learn stuff. Okay, but now I just wanted to show you, now on my Gumroad you will get a new product. It's called the Marble Run Master Kit. It comes for 49 euros, but oh man, I have to jump a lot here. Okay, so let's jump over here on my Patreon, still with the naming Bonfire. Right now you get 66% as a discount in June 2022, and up from next month it's still 50% as a discount. So if you are interested in the Marble Run kit, consider to become a Patreon and you will get a huge discount on these assets. All right, so I hope this was not confusing, man. Sometimes it's really hard for me to get these informations organized, but I hope you will understand it. Okay, so one quick recap. New product, Marble Run Master Kit. It's on Gumroad. It's markusgonza.gumroad.com. You can buy it there, or you could become a Patreon on 3D Bonfire and get the huge discount on the product. All right, so let me just show you what this product consists of. Okay, I hope this was not bad English. Anyway, you will get 84 blocks, rails, spirals, more spirals, a lot of slopes or ramps or however you want to call this, then different catcher elements, some curves, okay, and angles and crossings. Okay, so a lot of cool stuff. Maybe here you can see it again, a little bit more detailed. So they look really awesome, and you can see they come in different versions. All right, I will talk about this in a second, but for now just look at how awesome these products look. Okay, some of them have these beautiful surface details. Okay, so this stuff looks really awesome. And maybe let's just go over here, for example, and let's quickly talk about what these different versions mean. Okay, so maybe you recognize that all of these assets, they come in different colors, and the color coding stands for different poly versions. Okay, so for example, the gray version is the low poly version. So each of these assets has a low poly collider inside of it, which is set to invisible, and it is a really low poly object. Okay, so basically you don't want to show this one in render, but this is only to calculate the physics really fast. Okay, so this is the magic trick while the physics really calculates super fast and solid. And the next version would be this blue one. All right, so this one comes with a reasonable polygon amount. For example, this one has almost 20,000 polys, which sounds really a lot, but hey, this is totally fine for modern 3D software. Okay, and this one comes with standard beveled edges, so you can see you get that really clean machine look, I would say. So like this is manufactured by a machine. But then the next version, this one with 250,000 polys, this one is already quite dense. So just be careful if you, for example, build really complex scenes like this one. All right, then I would consider to use the medium version, for example. But you just have to check your CPU or your GPU, how much you can handle. All right, so based on that, you will decide which elements to choose. All right, but anyway, if you prefer a more handmade look, like this one where some pieces are cut from it, or it was like erosion, or you could also call it wear and tear or sculpted edges. So this one was all done with some sculpt brushes in Cinema 4D to really give it this handmade feeling. Okay, so this just doesn't look as sharp and pronounced like this version, so you are just more versatile in your projects. Okay, on top of these elements you will also get this one. I call this one the ultra res version. Okay, and I would say this one is especially for close-ups, also the ultra res version with surface details. Okay, so these two, they especially work good in close-up shots. So just look at these beautiful sculpted edges and all of the details. Maybe check it also here. So they just give you this handmade touch instead of the machine-like edges which come with the blue assets. Okay. So maybe also see it here. All right, all of these beautiful surface details, the edge wear and tear in comparison to the blue assets. Of course, also the blue assets, they look amazing. But yeah, I just wanted to give you more playground to be more versatile with these assets, okay? So it's up to you. Maybe one last reminder here, just be really careful because the poly count goes up quite intensely, okay? So I would say in scenes where you need a lot of assets, a lot of physics calculations, then prefer to go with the medium version and use the ultra res versions more for close-ups where you are more concentrated. Maybe you only use 10 to 30 assets, something like that, okay? Yeah, just keep in mind that the poly count of these ones is quite intense. And one last note here, I really tried to bake these informations into normal maps or displacement maps, but somehow it never really looked good. That's why I decided to really give you these high poly assets to play with. Okay, so I would say I already talked enough about these assets. So I think we should just jump into Cinema 4D, and with a couple of example files, I just show you how you can work with the master kit. And yeah, let's just do it. Maybe one last thought here. If you like to support me here on YouTube, just consider to subscribe and ring the bell. That would be just amazing. All right, finally in Cinema 4D. And you can see I fired up quite a lot of files already. So when I just go to the Windows browser here, that I opened up all of the Cinema 4D files, which will come with the master kit. So in that case, that would be the Rails Cinema 4D file, the curves, the spirals, the ramps, the angles and crossings, the catchers and the cubes. And for all of these packages of assets, you can also download them as FBX files, all right? So for example, here I opened up the spirals FBX file, and when I just click it here and go into the scene, then it should be the same like the Cinema 4D file. The only downside is, I think, that the collider objects inside of these elements, when I just make this one visible, okay, it's this one. I set this up for all of these elements, so you can see have this low poly collider inside of it. And now what you have to do with the FBX file is to right click on it and go to simulations and put the collider tag on it, okay? So now there will be acting as colliders in your scene, and this is something that will automatically be set up in the Cinema 4D file, okay? So when I go back to the Rails Cinema 4D file and open up a couple of these objects, then you will see that I already set this one up for you, okay? And when I make a little collision test with these spheres, then hopefully all of them will interact with the marbles, all right? And maybe let's have just a little bit of fun. Let's not push it too far, but let's just make something like this. And you will see that these marbles, they will roll down from these elements, okay? And of course, you still can change all of this behavior between the marble and your assets when you click on the collision objects for the elements and then change the bounce and friction behavior, okay? So you could put this one to 100 and make this really, really bouncy. I wouldn't recommend it, but you can do it, okay? But other than that, I will set this one back to the default value where you can start, and then you can go crazy from there. Of course, you can also change this behavior in the marble, okay? So it is always as an interaction between the marble and the asset. So change this value inside of the collider objects, but also on your marble, okay? So when you put this one to 100 for the spheres and the collision objects also to 100, I think this will go really crazy. All right, and other than that, all of these files will come with a little note. Again, here you can read about the different versions, like the gray is the collider objects inside of these elements, then the blue version is the medium version, yellow is the high res, and red and pink is the ultra res. So when I just go close here, you can see these ones, the ultra versions, they look really beautiful, even with a camera really close, okay? That looks just amazing. Also with this one, this is the other ultra version without the details. But then when you go to the high resolution version, I honestly have to say you shouldn't go too close, okay? Because otherwise this will get really blurry, all right? So better stay with a distance like this for these elements. And with this one, I mean, you can get close. This will always be round and beautiful. But I would also recommend to just go to a distance like this one maybe, okay? And as I mentioned it multiple times already, if you build really complex setups, then I would recommend to use these ones because they come with just a way lower poly count than these other assets. All right, so these are the rails. Let's just quickly go through it. Here you have the curves. It's basically always the same. Okay, you can open these ones up and you can see all of them come with the collider object inside of it. Okay, here you can see the spirals. These ones are the ramps or slopes, however you want to call it. Let's go here to the angles and crossings. Also beautiful stuff here. Then I call these ones the catcher elements. And I think we also have some blocks here. So these are the assets. And here we can check a little example file. So you have already seen this one as the rendered version. And here you can see it in Cinema 4D. So honestly, there is not so much magic behind it. You just have to connect these elements, all right, and build something awesome. Of course, on top of this, then you can still go there and, for example, add some cylinders, some cubes and stuff that don't require to be set up with a collider tag. So in that case, you could just go here and put another cylinder there, move it over here, all right, and maybe make it a bit smaller. Put it there, go inside of the attributes, make it a bit more roundish and put some fillet on it. Okay, so you can still enhance your scene with basic geometrical elements. Let's go to the next scene and you can see you can also go really crazy with this stuff and build something that looks just really complex and amazing. So don't be shy here and go as wild as you want to have your scenes, all right? And maybe one note here, I would go to build something like that, to build maybe a connection of 50 elements, and then I would instance it like a copy, and then I would put it there, rotate it, put it up and above, and then you can easily achieve really complex scenes. All right, let's go over here and let's go back to the start, and I would just go inside of this camera. This camera will follow one of these marbles, and you can see the physics calculation is really fast, so you can do this almost at real time, I would say, with about 30 or 40 marbles at the same time active. Okay, and you can just have fun with this one. All right, so really cool stuff here. What else can I say? This is really not complicated. You just have to connect these elements, put them next to each other. Okay, so there is not so much magic behind it. You just have to play with it and connect them. But if you want to see how I will do something like that, I can still show this to you. So I would just go to a new scene and you can see that I imported some of these assets. I used the medium versions here, put them into my scene, put them aside maybe a little bit from the center. And then now let's just build a little marble run here, okay? All right, so let's have some fun here, okay? And I just realized I wanted to make this even more easy to align these pieces next to each other. Okay, so actually this is a little bit of manual work here, and I tried to activate some snapping here, but I couldn't figure it out today. So by now this one is without the snapping. Okay, so maybe I can give you a little update, a tutorial on how you can make these elements easily snap to each other. But for now, I would say you just have to align them. Okay, it's not so bad. I just had this little idea right now that I could make this even more easy to align these pieces. So maybe I will give you an update on this one, but for now it's also a possibility to just align them here. Okay, it's not really that much work. Okay, so just go here, move it, and you can see this is really easy. So you just align them next to each other. Be reasonably precise here, so you don't do it like this, because then the marble will collide here. So just be really precise there. Okay, maybe I want to use something like this. Rotate it 180. All right, move it down here. Okay, like this. Maybe I could put a piece between it. No, I think this is okay. So let's just try it like this. I will align it. And when you are used to work in 3D space, then this shouldn't be too complicated for you to set this up. All right, maybe I would just duplicate this one, rotate it 180. All right, let's just move it here, put it down there. All right. And yes, it would be awesome if you could just snap it here, and this will make your workflow even faster. But for now, I think it's okay to do it like that. Okay, just a little bit manual work here and there. Maybe I will just move this one down here, rotate it 180. Okay, put it over there. All right, move it up. Okay, just put it here. All right, align it. Okay, that looks good. And maybe I want to use this piece here. Okay, so again, rotate it 180, then just move it down here. Okay, put it over there. All right, and position it like this. Okay, so that was not so complicated, was it? So you just move them next to each other. Okay, that looks awesome. So now we need a marble, right? And therefore, of course, you could use a sphere. Just move it over there, put it to the starting point, make it smaller. Try to match this diameter here. All right, so I think this could be something like 50. All right, and NB, you can see the subdivisions, and I think something like hexahedron could work. No, that would not be enough, Markus, so put it to 30. That could be better. All right, and now you just click here, go to the simulation text and put a rigid body on it. Now you can simulate it. And well, that's a bit underwhelming, isn't it? So I think we could use some like a little initial push here. Okay, so I will click on the sphere, hold down STRG to give me a cylinder. Now the cylinder is in the same position. Okay, let's get rid of the rotation here. Rotate it 90 degrees, put it back here, something like that, just a little bit more small. Here, go to the diameter, give it 50 and give it some caps so this will look better. All right, so let's see. So this one will fall down and then this element should be moved along the y-axis. Okay, so just give me 10 frames here and then I will do something like this. All right, let's just check it. Oh, that was not intended. I'm sorry. Oh, okay, so didn't know what I did wrong. So just move this one back here. Oh, this is a little gotcha, okay? So it looks like it's the y-axis, but what is really changing is the z-axis. And this has to do because we are in object mode here, all right? So now you can see this is the axis that is really animated. So just right click this one, delete the track and do it one more time. So go back here, make a keyframe for the z position, then go here and just give it a push. All right, let's just check it. Something like that. I have to say the first keyframe is too close, so let's move this one back. All right, that could work. Okay, so let's give this one a collider tag. Okay. All right, so this is working. And now let's just see what is happening here. All right, the sphere is running. Whoa, there was a big jump here already. It's really fast. It goes into the curve. All right, and now it rotates. Come on, come on. Okay, I think it needs some more time here. It will go into the hole. Come on, and there you go. Okay, so this is showing you the basic steps that you need to connect these pieces. And of course, you can just make this as complex as you want it to be. But other than that, I think I don't need to tell you so much more here because the principles are pretty simple. You just have to align it. And I will think about a solution how you can easily snap these elements next to each other. That would be amazing if you could get rid of the manual work here. I mean, it's not that bad. It will still be fun. All right, so you just go here. But I just try to figure out how you can easily snap these ones to each other, okay? Shouldn't be that complicated. Now it's on you to have some fun with this one and please show me your results. I'm pretty sure you come up with something amazing. Can't wait to see it. Thank you so much for your support. Follow me on YouTube and on Patreon, on Instagram, whatever you like. Have an awesome day. Thank you so much. Bye, guys.